Hey parents, Dr. Andrew here at Thrive, and today we're going to have a conversation about anxiety. This is always an important topic, but I feel like this time of the year it tends to be hitting a little bit more because we're in a season of transition. We're getting closer to back to school, starting to think about what's coming with that. So anxiety is something that is important to have on our radars. Now, what does this mean? What's the definition, and what are some of the root causes and issues that are at play when someone is dealing with this? Anxiety is this intense feeling of overwhelm or stress or lack of control that you might experience. This could be something that adults are experiencing or something that our kids, our little ones, are dealing with too. It's often going hand in hand with physical symptoms. Gut, belly, GI stuff is a big issue, whether that's stomach pains, sometimes it's nausea or discomfort. Those can all be connected to anxiety. And there are so many factors, so many mental health things that go into this, right? We could talk about the role of social media affecting our kids' mental health. Or we could talk about environmental exposures and toxins. There's a lot that is out there that is good to be aware of and that we want to be aware of. But what we want to do is take a nervous system focused approach, because that's what's at the root of this, right? It's not necessarily a genetic thing or just a chemistry thing that's going on. We need to realize that there are some underlying neurological mechanisms at play that are going to affect whether or not a kid is adapting to these challenges and stresses okay, or dealing with a lot of them. So it can oftentimes be something that they're dealing with from young ages, just manifesting differently. The kids, the school age or middle school, high school age teens that we meet, the ones that are dealing with anxiety at that point, one, they often have other neurodevelopmental challenges. Maybe it's sensory issues or some focus delays as well. But they also have had struggles throughout their lifetime. We find that more often than not, these are kids that dealt with maybe chronic illnesses, chronic sicknesses. They were on a lot of antibiotics, maybe recurring ear infections or coughs and colds that would be there more than they were for the typical kid. And even if we back up beyond that, it was maybe a baby that struggled, right? Colic, reflux, spitting up, poor latch and feeding, maybe torticollis and a flat head. There's other challenges that are related, because a lot of times this issue starts with pregnancy, starts with birth. If we had a stressful pregnancy and then birth trauma that injured and damaged this upper neck area, we're setting the stage for all of those different challenges that then at a certain point in life show up as anxiety. So that was a lot of information, kind of probably out of left field for you if you haven't been following what we've talked about and you're not familiar with some of these mechanisms. So to connect the dots a little bit and say how birth and a fussy baby and colic can be connected to anxiety, we just need to understand how this upper cervical brainstem region works. There's one specific nerve called the vagus nerve that a lot of people are actually, I get so excited when someone comes in and we're talking and explaining the vagus nerve and they're like, oh yeah, I know all about that because I have a Whoop strap or an Aura ring, or I have a, I saw this article and my yoga teacher talks about meditation, and they're all talking about the vagus nerve, and I love it because this vagus nerve is at the root of all of this stuff. The vagus nerve is what controls our growth and development, calming, brake pedal side of the nervous system. So if that's stuck in stress, stuck in survival mode, all of the optimal wellness functions get pushed off to the back burner. That comes out at the base of our skull, right above these first couple cervical vertebrae. And so when there's damage and stress and injury in that brainstem, occiput, C1, C2 region, it's going to more or less push our body into a survival mode state, which then means our brake pedal is turned off. If internally your body is so ramped up, we're so on edge, the engine is already revving, it doesn't take a whole lot of external stimuli or external stress to then push you over the edge, right? Maybe it's the kid that feels overwhelmed with the school tasks, or maybe it's a social challenge or issue they're dealing with peers or with friends who are mean and stuff like that. Whatever the external push is, it's something beyond their ability to adapt. So yes, let's do our best to limit those external stressors and get rid of some of the crap and negative peer pressure that has, more of an issue our kids deal with social media and all that. Let's limit that, but let's also turn down that stress on the inside. That's what our role is. That's what scans let us dig into even more and get to the bottom of. So that is just the tip of the iceberg, guys, but this is such an important topic. If you want to dig into it more, there's an awesome article that's linked here, or the link is in our bio, you can check out, and that's going to dig into even more what the scans are, how this vagus nerve dysautonomia regulatory system works. I would really encourage you to check that out. Tune into the webinar coming in at the end of the month on August 31st, and we're going to get answers for you, get help for your kid, and make sure they're at their best. Have a great rest of your day, guys.